So, didn't really have high hopes for today. Anything this afternoon was a bonus. Started out getting this small red. Kinda didn't show it here because my camera was angled up a little bit too much.
Well, it's not what I expected out here, but first red of the trip. There he goes.
So after that fish, there wasn't really much biting. Did a few more drifts in the area. Didn't get anything, so I decided to go check the shallows. And eventually stumbled on this fish. It was tailing a little bit here and there, but it was a nice fish. I'd say about 28 to 30 inches. The only problem was there was a bunch of mullet around. And you'll see why in a second, why it was kind of bad having this much mullet in such a small area. But it also doesn't help that I was making some bad casts. See that school right there, I think one of those fish ended up running into the red itself and kind of spooking him. Because, as you saw right there, didn't really cast at him. These fish aren't that spooky to where they spook when I'm, 20, 30 feet away. They spook when I run on top of them. So, I think a bait fish hit that fish. But after that, waited for the trout window, didn't really find any more fish, and had to mute it here because I was talking with my buddy about the spot and I don't want to obviously blow it up. But first drift on the trout window, hooked a big fish, ran at me so I didn't get a good hook set, and eventually he spit the hook. I'd say it was around a 26, 27 incher. But this is a good consolation prize trout. This time of year, there's not really trout in this area. I'll usually catch 8 or 9 reds, but no trout. And when it gets cold, these fish just kind of go to deeper water. So catching a 21, 22 inch trout's a nice bonus. Losing the big one, it hurt, but again, today's just a bonus day. And as you can tell, he really wanted that thing. He chomped that thing down. But I chose to fish this evening versus the morning because the morning had an hour trout window versus the evening had a 2-hour window. And that's really why I chose that. I had to pick up shrimp for tonight, so it was either one or the other. Either fish early, come in early, or start late, finish late. And of course, Butterfingers McGee just kinda lets the fish flop out of his hand again. So the audio here is kind of messed up, but day 2, last night, I had technical difficulties with the camera, so I only got about 20 or 30 seconds of footage, and this is it.
Nah, let's get a pit. Pick, dude. You know how long it's been since we've had a day like this? Hold it up for the GoPro. Oh, dude, mine dwarfs yours, dude. Just look at the tail. I can see the tail from your big fish. Yeah. Alright. You ready? I popped the lure out though.
And that's all the footage I got. But ended up with 5 reds. Smallest one was about 28, 29. Biggest one was probably around 36, 37. in the span of 3 hours, which is a great day for haulover. Woke up this morning and it was tough, but we'll see how it goes. Fishing all day with my buddy Richard, and yeah, hopefully we'll get a big trout, maybe a bunch of reds. So Richard and I split up. We ended up meeting at the same spot because I couldn't find any fish on my side, and he went on his side, and he got to the spot a little bit before I did and lost about a 25, 26 inch trout. Actually broke his topwater off, and he got about 2 reds.
Can you like stop jumping?
So
Can you stop jumping though?
I went on the other side, and
Like, I know how big he is because I saw him clear out of the water.
I was able to make a few good casts into the wind, just kind of punching it. And
Notice though, as soon as I stood up and I was able to make a good cast, if I were you, I'd stake out and just bomb downwind.
I was able to get a nice blow up.
Yeah, but the slower you go, the more water you can cover. There you go. Oh my god, dude. Although, I would like a picture.
If you notice, this entire time I'm fighting with like no drag, and that's how I catch most of my big trout.
That's a... Hey, if you come around, come that way. Like, head as close as you can to the shoreline and just hug it. Because there's a lot of fish here and we don't want to spook them. Oh my god, one of the hooks just popped out. He's barely hooked. Of course I don't have my net ready. He's shrinking. Yeah. Not the 30, but I guarantee you there's a 30 somewhere here.
You know, it's funny. I can tell from looking at so many big trout that this one isn't going to be 30.
That's a giant, dude.
So close, yet so far to 30. 29 and a half. So generally I like to have these big girls out for 45 seconds, minute tops. I was shooting around that goal, but Richard didn't get the best of pictures, so he had to redo it, which kept him out a little bit longer than I'd like, but it's not too big of a deal.
Oh yeah, dude. Frisky. Thank you.
As you can tell, she was still had some life in her.
They might. And there she goes.
So we found a school of reds. Richard already had 3 reds at this point, to where I had got my first. And I had some ground to make up. And at this point, Richard and I are going fish for fish. So I would get one, and then he would get one, and then I'd get one, and he'd get one. And there's obviously a school of fish. And at this point, I believe he was 3 up on me.
He's like, he's gonna take one for the team to warn everyone.
Nice little 22, 23 inch red. Not a giant, but you know, when you're out here fun fishing and you're with your buddies, if you can catch a bunch of slots out of a school, it's fun.
Number 2.
And at this point, we're kind of pinpointing where this school is. Because I would get one, and then Richard would get one, and then I would get one. So we're basically pinballing the school back and forth between each other.
Better one. Yeah,
You know,
might be a perfect, dude.
when you have another person with you, it really helps to pin a school of reds along a shallow flat or a shoreline, to where you can just catch one, the school will spook to the shoreline, come back out, and you can catch another. Keep doing that until you get, you know, pretty much all the fish. Whereas when you're solo, you get one and they just spook and go around you, and then you won't be able to find them again. And you can tell these fish are pleasantly plump, so they've been eating pretty good. So now at this point, Richard and I pretty much got this school dialed in to where we know that if one of us hooks up, we're the kind of cast to make this school stay with us. And to the other side of Richard is kind of a shallow flat. So we have this school pinned between us and the shallow flat. And we're preventing this school from pretty much going to the deeper water.
Well, they're still here. Come on. Chill.
What's interesting is, in a little bit, after I unhook this fish, as you'll see right there, I actually had a few drum swim up to me and spook out to the deeper water.
Nice red. Yep. Every fucking...
So the reason why I'm laughing is Richard had to use the bathroom, and he was 3 up on me. And I was joking with him while he was using the bathroom, like, oh, got a bite, got a bite. And then I actually did get a bite.
Oh shit, dude.
So now it's
Yeah.
6-8. Richard has 8, I got 6. And of course, he flops out. And for once, I got 2 fish back to back before Richard could get one. So now at this point, it's 1 fish behind him.
Yeah, dude, this one would have been an upgrade.
You know, it's fun to
Probably 24 and a half, 25.
it's fun to have good competition out here because it makes you a better fisherman, in my opinion. When your partner, gets 2 fish to your 5, you're not really motivated to really see how many fish you guys can catch.
There he goes. Not Not saying that yet. Gotta get them in.
I don't know what happened with Richard or why the school just kind of stayed next to me, but Richard didn't catch a fish between the past two fish and this one. I don't know if he was being nice or if he was really trying. I'd assume he was really trying because he's as competitive as me. But this fish tied us. So now we're 8 reds apiece and it's only 10:30.
Yeah.
And after this, Richard was able to pull one more fish before we left the school. But for the most part, we were pretty much even. I got pretty lucky getting 3 fish back to back before he could get one. But we figured, we terrorized this school enough. Probably could have sat there and gotten another 3 or 4. But went on to greener pastures. Spooked a few more fish before I found this guy along the shoreline. And actually stalked him for about 50 yards or so. Just because the water's so shallow, it took me forever to get to him. But as you can see along the shoreline, you see where he is. He's actively feeding. And what's cool is if you pay attention to where I cast, you can actually see him come out to the bait and actually eat it. And I know I'm going a little bit aggressive on this fish. I just wanted to get him in to tie him again. So all I'm doing now is just trying to figure out how I can stake out without drifting off into deeper water and potentially spooking more fish. But thank God for Hobie pedals, because you can always just stick them into the grass, into the shallow water, and it can be your makeshift anchor. One thing I love about being out here is if you listen real closely, you can hear just absolutely nothing. It's nice and peaceful out here. All caught on a little Slayer 3-inch.
Number 9, baby. Gorgeous fish.
A little bit more pretty than the other fish that we were catching. Nice, pretty little redfish. You can tell this one's been in a little bit more murky water than the other ones. And this would have been number 10, but got a little bit too excited and forgot how shallow this water is. Set the hook a little bit too hard on that fish, but almost ended up falling off the kayak. But overall, that was it. We decided to call it a little bit early just because, we had a good day. The fishing was obviously slowing down. We were seeing less fish were biting, and we bottom line was we both had a good day. So, Richard ended with 9 reds. I ended with 9 reds and a big trout. We caught a bunch of smaller trout in between, so it was a fun day. I think Richard got I want to say 5 or 6 trout that were in the 20 to 23 inch range before we even met up. So it was fun. If you like part 1 on this little mini trip, stay tuned for part 2. And if you like, these sort of videos, these inshore videos, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, because I'll be doing these kind of intermittently as the offshore days are a little bit slow. So yeah, till next time, see ya.